What's the subconscious? What is that? Does it exist or doesn't it? I heard somebody on Twitch, I was watching somebody on Twitch talking about it, the subconscious, and it doesn't exist. Now, what's the subconscious? Her definition of subconscious clashes with mine. So my definition of the subconscious is a part of our brain and the consciousness. Is it subconscious? So it's still conscious. It's a part of the brain that deals with things that we don't want to deal with, or we don't need to deal with, like ka-thump, 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 ka-thump. I'm not consciously making my heart beat. Is that a chemical reaction, or is it my brain going, the heart needs to beat? I don't know. Breathing, I can stop that. See? But we do it. So then there's those other things that we do, like driving a car. If you're thinking about everything you're doing when you're driving a car, you're going to get in trouble. You need to do some things automatically, right? Especially when the car gets out of control. Are you racing a motorcycle? Ever raced a motorcycle? Ever gone fast on a motorcycle? When you're doing 250 kilometres an hour, you don't have time to think about everything that you're doing. All you have time to think about is what the road's doing up ahead. So when you're going fast on a motorcycle, on a highway, which I've done a lot of, I'm not thinking about this. I'm not thinking about the brakes. I'm not thinking about anything except I'm looking up the road, and that's it. And everything else happens because I'm looking up the road and I'm doing 250 kilometres an hour. I'm not thinking about anything else except looking up the road. Sports people. Sports people don't think about everything they're doing. Professional golf, which is what I do, they don't think about everything that they're doing. They go the other way. They deliberately try to not think about what they're doing, leaving it to the subconscious, or what some people will describe as muscle memory. I've had people try to prove to me that muscles have memory, but they don't have neurons. They just have nerves. You need neurons to have memory. Neurons are where the memory is stored, or something like that. But you need neurons. Your stomach has more neurons than your brain, I think, for memory, or at least as many. So your stomach's more of a brain than your muscles, which is why you should eat properly, but that's another thing altogether. So the subconscious, I call that the subconscious. When I was 8 or 9, my uncle taught me to shoot. I wanted to go out at night with the boys in the ute, or what you Americans would call a truck. And I stood up in the back of the truck. I wanted to stand up in the back of the truck with the boys and go shooting rabbits, because rabbits are a pest, and foxes, because foxes are a pest. And my uncle managed a huge property, had a paddock in the middle that was 10,000 acres. That was just one paddock, had one tree in it, and that's where we went that night. But that day, he decided to figure out whether whether I had the brains to actually deal with a rifle and not kill anybody, which is fair enough. I was a kid. I was 8 or 9 years old. So we went out in his ute, and he stopped, and we parked next to a post where he took out a beer bottle, and he said, "See that tree stump down there?" He said, "Go and put this beer bottle on that tree stump." So it was about, I don't know, 50, 70, between 50 and 100 metres. So I walked down there, put the bottle on the tree stump, walked back, and he had a 22 single shot, open sights, no cartridge, no magazine, just single shot. You put the bullet in the top, you open it up, put the bullet in the top, and close the bolt. So one shot. She showed me how it worked, and then he said to me, "When you have this in your hands, you don't point it at anybody. You point it in the air. You don't point it at the ground, because if it goes off, it can shoot you in the foot. So you point it in the air, you know where the barrel is all the time, and be in control of it. Otherwise, you don't get it." And I went, "Fair enough. That's what you do with it." So he handed me the rifle, and he said, "Now, what did I tell you?" I was pointing it in the air. And he said, "Point it in the air." I said, "Good." He said, "Good. Point it in the air." He said, "Now, that bottle down there, I want you to hit it." He didn't tell me how to aim or anything else. He just told me how to be safe with a gun. So I aimed, and I hit it. And he looked at me and he went, "Beginner's luck." Handed me another bullet and do it again. So I did. That's my subconscious. I didn't know what I was doing, but I did it. So that night we went out in the truck, and I had a gun. I had that gun at 22. And I had a bullet up the spout, and I was standing in the middle of the truck, the ute, and it had a cage on it, a shooting cage. And I had a guy on either side of me, a man, an adult, looking after me, because I was 8 or 9 years old. I was a little kid, and I had a gun. So we went out, and we spotted a fox. So my uncle off after it, because he was driving, and I'm standing up the back of this truck, and there's a couple of guys behind me, and like I said, one on either side. So we're off after this fox across this 10,000 acre paddock with one tree. So my uncle was just going for it. And we're all over the place, bouncing up and down, no roads, just grass. And they were shooting at this freaking fox, and they couldn't hit it for shit, because we were bouncing all over the place. And then this guy behind me with the 303 decided to let loose over my head. And at that stage, I was starting to get a little bit nervous. I mean, that's not what my uncle taught me that morning. So I thought, fuck this. And I picked my rifle up, and I aimed at this fox, and I let one go, and I hit it right in the temple. And it dropped dead right in front of us. My uncle got out, picked up this fox. Sure enough, I hit it right in the temple. It had turned to look at me as I'd shot it. Do you think I did that deliberately? No. That was my subconscious going, now. And I did. And my uncle picks it up and goes, "Who shot this?" And one of the guys goes, "Cliff." And he goes, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, I shot it." And he goes, "Okay." Subconscious. It's not. Now, I've gone through all of that about the subconscious. It's just a word. It's like air. When we describe the atmosphere on Venus, we'll call it air, because it is. It's an atmosphere, so it's air. It's not breathable, but it's air. So after all that, the subconscious is just this part of the brain down there, that bit that guards the body from the brain. It's the muscle memory. It short circuits what's happening. It recognizes what's going on with our hands or our feet or our head or our back, whatever we're doing at the time that we don't want to think about, and it short circuits it because it's recognizing what's going on, because we've done it so many times. So this part of the brain, the animal brain, is what gives you dreams. It's also what controls your subconscious, your muscle memory. This is where it comes from. It's not the subconscious. It's your brain. It's your animal brain. I don't remember what it's called. I don't care. Call it the animal brain. Or for idiots, subconscious. How do I know that? Because I have so much pain in my body that I know how to short circuit it. I know how my brain short circuits the pain, because this part of the brain here also controls the pain, right? You wonder why you've got a broken arm and you can't feel it, because this part of the brain's going, well, I don't want to deal with that, so it short circuits it and goes somewhere else. It's fight or flight. That's your fight or flight. Your brain's deciding whether to fight or flight. Sometimes it fights because it can't flight. That's your subconscious, your animal brain. We do it all the time. We breathe with it. We drive with it. We run with it. We fuck with it. It's our animal brain. Yeah. Have fun.